Say this with my chest, there are far more women struggling to find love in relationships than men. Yes, I agree, bad men exist, but these men are created, not born. And I'll tell you what's causing this: toxic feminism. What feminism does is simultaneously teach women to detest masculine traits in men, but cultivate them in themselves. So for instance, a man that cheats is trash, but a woman who cheats is a bad bitch. Or a man that sexualizes women is misogynistic, but a woman should sell her nudes online and she's a bad bitch. But the biggest problem with feminism is that it makes women reject their feminine traits. So they no longer want to be loyal or nurturing. As a result, we're breeding a generation of men who no longer aspire to provide, protect, and most importantly, respect women because they can access them and replace them. So yes, men are struggling to find love, but it might be because this generation of women is not what they want.
Where the hell do y'all be finding these men that are obsessed with you? Good fathers?
Morning. First cup of coffee of the day, and this is what pops up on my feed again. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not picking on this particular creator herself, because I've seen iterations of this going around all over the place. And I'm saying this as a man who's been happily married for 40 years, 2 grown daughters, 3 grown granddaughters, great-grandchildren. Ladies, you're asking the wrong questions. Okay? Because you're wanting, you've got your laundry list of all the things you want. But the question is, what are you bringing to the table? Okay, you want a man to go out and bust his ass, keep a roof over your head, clothes on your back, food on the table for you and the children, take care of y'all and love you. But can you cook like Gordon Ramsay? Do you keep house like Martha Stewart? Can you manage a budget like Alan Greenspan? Do you have a personality like June Cleaver and not one of these bad boss? Okay? And can you like a porn star? Yes, whenever he wants it. See, that's the thing. Y'all have your list of demands, but you don't want to do anything in return. Okay? It takes years, decades, for a man to develop a skill set. Okay? To be able to provide everything that you want. But y'all aren't willing to put in the time to develop your own essential skill sets. So, I'm sorry. Y'all have been lied to for decades by this third wave intersectional feminism garbage. That y'all can just sit on your well-padded posteriors and do exactly nothing and expect your husband to take care of you like a princess. Well, you're not a princess. You're not even the court jester. You have no domestic skills. And your personalities suck. So, if you want a guy, you got to work on you first. You got to make it worth it for him to invest the time and to put in the hours to give you everything you want. Because if you're not willing to do it, I'm sorry. It's going to suck to be you. There was a recent survey out that said over the next 20 to 25 years, over half of the young women today will never get married because guys are checking out. It's not worth it for most guys today to get involved in a serious relationship, much less to get married to a woman. Because y'all get an attitude, you take off, you take half his shit and the kids, and he winds up stuck paying the bill and child support forever. Ain't worth it. It's just not.
Toxic modern day feminists be like, do not hold the door open for me. Do not say ladies first. I am a boss babe. I am an independent woman. I pay my own bills. I have a big girl job. All men are trash. I don't need a man, okay? What do I have to offer in a relationship? We're just lucky to be with someone like me, a boss babe. Yes, I mean, I don't cook, clean. I'll probably talk down to you all the time. Also, my place is a really bad mess. There's trash everywhere. I go out every single weekend, drink with the girls trip. I have sex with random different men at the bar that I take home, but it's because I'm an independent woman. That's empowering for us women, okay? You can't handle that. You're just insecure. Then when these women finally get in relationships, they're just like, why is the guy that I'm dating some bum ass loser? All he does is take money from me. He doesn't work and he treats me like crap. Where did I go wrong? Where are all the good men at? No one wants me. I'm sorry, but you scared away all the good men, but you got your bum-ass loser guy now. You can take care of him. You're a boss babe. You don't need no man. He can depend on you, right?
Welcome to 2022, where you can do anything a man can do. I am so excited to finally be here. Feminism has done so much for women. Do tell. No more aprons, first of all. Do we finally have a butler to cook for us? Oh gosh, no, you'll just eat pre-made greasy crap out of a bag on your way to and from work. Suppose that sounds convenient. I get to work outside the home? Totally. You get to sit in a cubicle all day while you stare at a computer screen, chugging coffee. So liberating, right? I'm at work all day. Will we finally have a Rosie the Robot maid? No, you'll still have to do all the cleaning. That's what your weekends are for, cleaning and laundry. Oh, and errands and yard work. Wait, so I have to work full time plus still manage my home full time? I mean, you want to have it all, right? But what about my husband? Is he amazing? What? No, you're not married. You live alone with your cat. What? You do date though, a lot. You can just have sex with whoever, whenever you want. That sounds kind of gross actually. Just pick them off of this app. What about pregnancy? Oh, there's this magic pill you take. Totally wrecks your hormones, but keeps you from getting pregnant. The pill is magic. Don't worry. If by chance you do get pregnant, you can totally just kill the baby by having an abortion. Why would I do that? So you can get back to work. Duh. Someone has to fill that cubicle space. Am I at least happy? I mean, yeah, as long as you don't skip your antidepressant pill. Another magic pill. Gotta cope somehow. I think I'll just stay here.
Why do you guys think there's this disdain towards men from feminists when they say they want equality?
I feel like they're just conditioned to do it. I feel like they're just told that men are the enemy. But if you speak to many women and ask them about their lived experience, very few will say, oh, my male boss was a nightmare, or this man was so bad. They'll always say, oh, I had this boss, she was a right bitch, and it's always a woman. And all these, and as we all know, like I know from my experience on social media with women and stuff, it's always been most of my difficulties in life have come from other women. So I always combine like my lived experience with my thoughts. Whereas I think a lot of feminists haven't even branched out to the idea of what has my life experience been like? Have men actually been oppressing me? Has it been more women stopping me from progressing at work? And if they took a moment to actually reflect on that, they'd realize men aren't the enemy. It doesn't mean anyone's the enemy, but men definitely aren't the enemy.
Being a violent man or anything like that is appropriate. I think it's really damaging.
Would you be able to phrase it as a question? Sorry for the panel.
Oh, okay.
I can say a couple of things back and we can have a discussion about this. So first and foremost, you started by saying, I feel like it's really important that we know what you think like, because a big problem is that people are thinking, are feeling, and they're not really thinking anymore. Secondly, you brought up toxic masculinity. I believe toxic masculinity exists, but it exists inside of radicalized feminists, right? Where they're thinking that they should be able to own and control society because they're marching in the street with pussy hats and saying that they demand justice for a free and fair election, like they did with Donald J. Trump. I don't like this trend where we're trying to turn men, and you call it, masculinity is masculinity. I like masculinity. Masculinity is actually the one thing that saved me in life, and is being taught that there's something wrong with it, that there's something that's implicitly violent about being a man, and that's wrong. And I think the people that are harmed the most by it, by the way, are women. Women are harmed the most. When you break down men and strong fathers, we are the ones that suffer the most.
And also, can I just say that, you know, men commit suicide at faster rates than women. Women actually live longer than men. Most men are actually in prison, and most men, more than women, are homeless. So
women graduate more from college. In what way are we suffering? What statistic do you feel that women are suffering and men aren't? Because there might be a meninist. There might need to be a meninism movement.
You have a female prime minister.
Men feeling that they need to dominate spaces physically and speaking over women, interrupting women, belittling them.
Yeah.
You see how good I'm being?
I mean, you can.
So just a question. So you just said when men interrupt and dominate spaces. Were you a toxic feminist when you interrupted me when I was on stage?
No, I was interrupting something.
I'm just asking.
But I fundamentally don't believe it.
I'm just asking because you're saying that somebody interrupting someone is now a symbol of toxic masculinity. You just interrupted me on stage, so are you a toxic feminist?
I wasn't interrupting you because I didn't.
You went bullshit.
Yeah, because you were talking
bullshit.
Because you were talking bullshit. I didn't interrupt you because you're a woman. I interrupted you because I didn't believe what you were saying. It's not that I didn't believe.
But maybe that's what men do sometimes. Is it possible that men sometimes interrupt because they disagree with what women are saying and not because they're toxic masculinity in the air? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Is that you're coming up with terms. So does that make which one of us is less of a woman? We have different opinions.
What do you mean, which of us is less of a woman?
You're saying that it is, and I'm saying that it's not. We have a differing opinion, and the reason why I don't like feminism because it basically tells us that we have to feel this way, that we have to feel bitter towards men, towards husbands, towards marriage, towards children, and that's why I'm trying to let you know the feminist movement is considered very radicalized because there are many women, especially conservative women, who just don't feel that way. We don't feel burdened by children and marriage.
Can I give you some facts, though, to support this? No? You don't want to hear from a man? Okay. Wait, see how things get really dangerous and you start to generalize men and women all of a sudden, like you did?
I just wanted to continue the conversation that I was having with Candace.
We'll talk about facts later. Sorry, I interrupted.
I understand that some women want a family and they want to be mothers. I completely respect that. All feminism is doing is telling you that you do have a choice. And I don't believe radical feminism is pushing women into hating the family. It's just suggesting that maybe this doesn't have to be your lot. And some women have internalized values that make them think that this is what they want when really they might not.
So
I really do want a husband and children one day.
Okay,
So,
that's fine,
but what
and I
I'm saying to you is the
respect
reason
that.
why I don't like feminism is because feminists think feminism is mandatory. The second you find out that a girl doesn't identify as a feminist, you're up here and you're asking a bunch of questions. I don't like the feminist movement. I think it's become very toxic and very hostile towards men. If you believed in the equality that men and that women should be able to think whatever we wanted, you wouldn't be debating me right now. You'd say, well, more power to you because you'd be a true feminist. But you're not. You're trying to.
You're belittling other women.
I'm not belittling them. You're allowed to be a feminist. I'm not telling you you can be a feminist. You could buy a pussy hat if you left today, and I wouldn't mind. I've never had an issue with people that are feminists. I have an issue when people tell me that I now have to be a feminist or that it's complete bullshit when I say that I think it's harmful to keep telling men that masculinity is wrong.
Was that men and women are basically alike in terms of personality, in terms of cognitive ability, in terms of leadership. But what it did find was that media depictions of men and women as fundamentally different perpetuate misconceptions, as does workplace bias.
Oh, God, so it's men and women are broadly similar with regards to aggression, although men tilt a little bit more towards aggression. So that if you picked a random person out of the population, male and female, and you guessed that the male was more aggressive, you'd be right 60% of the time. But if you take the 1 in 100 most aggressive people, they're all male. And that's why the overwhelming proportion of people who are in prisons are male. Now, do you want to equalize that? Just out of curiosity? What about bricklayers? They're 99% male. And we've got about 3/4 of the population now in universities in the humanities and social sciences are female.
Yeah.
Are we going to equalize that? And men work longer hours. They work more dangerous jobs. They're more likely to move. They're more likely to work outside. They're more likely to participate in jobs in the STEM fields that are scalable. They make more money for those reasons. And that's all hidden under the idea that the reason that men and women make different amounts of money is because of their gender.
This makes me so sad and so angry at OnlyFans. OnlyFans is so gross because it literally weaseled its way into these feminist spaces and convinced women that it is somehow empowering for them to sell their body online with false promises they're gonna make hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's not the reality of it. It's basically a sex work pyramid scheme. In what other business, when the market is so flooded, would you continue to try to recruit young women? And don't get me wrong, I have no problem with sex work, but it is not supposed to be this common, especially not amongst young women. And I hate to say this, but this is the opposite of feminism. This is quite literally the objectification of women. You can have us at a price. What? And I don't know why I feel like I'm so early on this train, but I don't see a lot of people talking about it. Which is, again, why I'm so proud of this girl for posting about it.